In a surprising turn of events, Senegal, known as one of Africa's most stable democracies, faced uncertainty when President Macky Sall initially cancelled the scheduled election set for February 2024. This decision raised concerns about the country's democratic reputation. However, due to mounting pressure from within Senegal and the international community, the president ultimately reversed his decision. Consequently, on March 24, 2024, the Senegalese presidential election took place, featuring 19 candidates vying for the position. The outcome of the election revealed that the next president of Senegal is none other than Bassirou Diomaye Faye, a 44-year-old opposition leader who had been incarcerated just 2 weeks before the election. Remarkably, Faye was relatively unknown 2 years ago. The rise of Bassirou Diomaye Faye begs the question: who is he, and what are his plans for the people of Senegal? Additionally, some wonder whether he can be compared to Africa's youngest president, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Let's explore these inquiries further in this video. Born in 1980, Bassirou Diomaye Faye never envisioned himself becoming the president of Senegal. After completing his university education in 2000, he obtained a master's degree in law and embarked on a career as a tax inspector in the Tax and Estates Department. During this period, he formed a close friendship with Ousmane Sonko, the leader of the main opposition party in Senegal, who also worked as a tax inspector. Together, they played a vital role in establishing the Taxes and Estates Union, with Faye advocating for measures to facilitate homeownership for tax and property agents. In 2014, Ousmane Sonko founded a new political party called the Patriots of Senegal PASTEF, initially with Faye as a guest member. However, Faye swiftly rose to prominence within the party and became one of the key thinkers and architects of Sonko's presidential program in 2019, even though Sonko ultimately finished third in the election. The years 2020 and 2021 brought new challenges. Faye had to assume the role of General Secretary of PASTEF after Ousmane Sonko's arrest on charges of allegedly raping a minor. As General Secretary, Faye worked towards uniting the opposition for the 2022 elections, resulting in their victory of 56 seats under the banner of the Liberate the People's Alliance. In April 2023, he was arrested and imprisoned for spreading false news, insulting a magistrate, and defaming a constituted body based on his comments on social media. Faye remained incarcerated until a turning point occurred when Ousmane Sonko was also detained and disqualified from running in the upcoming elections due to a defamation conviction. Before this, their political party, PASTEF, had already been disbanded by the Supreme Court in July 2023. Following the disbandment of the PASTEF party, including Faye, party members strongly believed that the detention of Ousmane Sonko and the banning of their political party were all part of a scheme by the current administration to eliminate formidable rivals from the upcoming election. In response, they decided to nominate themselves as candidates. However, Faye was the only one who managed to file his candidacy, despite being imprisoned at the time. A coalition of over 100 parties, including influential figures like former Prime Minister Aminata T, joined Faye's campaign under the banner Diomaye Faye is Sonko. Thanks to the recently enacted general amnesty law aimed at alleviating political tensions, Faye, who had spent 11 months in prison, was released in early March along with Sonko to prepare for the elections. Faye and Sonko embarked on an extensive campaign across the country, attracting thousands of supporters to their rallies and caravans. Despite the relatively short campaign period, approximately 7 million Senegalese citizens turned out to vote during the election. Before Election Day, Faye publicly disclosed his assets and urged other candidates to do the same. His declaration included a residence in Dakar, another property outside the capital, and one in his hometown, as well as bank accounts holding approximately $6,600. On March 26, 2024, Bassirou Diomaye Faye was officially declared the winner of the 2024 Senegalese presidential election. Speaking at his first public appearance after the election, Faye expressed to the attending journalists, "In choosing me, the Senegalese people have decided to break away from the past, and I pledge to govern with humility and transparency." This leads us to question what exactly Faye's policies for the people of Senegal and the international community entail. According to Faye himself, the cornerstone of his political agenda is to rehabilitate the institutions of the Republic and restore a state governed by the rule of law, which he believes was disregarded during Macky Sall's presidency. He expressed concern that the executive branch of the government had gained excessive control over the legislative and judicial branches, leading to the manipulation of justice to target and imprison political opponents. To address this issue, Faye pledged to curtail presidential powers, introduce impeachment as a safeguard, prohibit the accumulation of multiple political mandates, combat corruption, and explore alternatives to imprisonment. Furthermore, Faye made a promise to reclaim Senegal's sovereignty, a concept he emphasized repeatedly in his manifesto. He also plans to review fishing agreements with foreign countries due to the decline in fish resources, which has negatively impacted the livelihoods of over 600,000 Senegalese due to exploitation by European and Asian trawlers. He also plans the development of the primary sector to ensure food security and strive for self-sufficiency, particularly regarding the staple crop of rice. Additionally, Faye aims to introduce a new currency called the Senegal to replace the CFA franc, which has been in use for over 65 years. Lastly, apart from the shift regarding the currency, Faye intends to redefine Senegal's relationship with France, its primary trading partner. The new relationship would be based on a mutually beneficial partnership rather than the status quo. Faye expressed that if France is unwilling to embrace this change, Senegal will have no choice but to seek alternative partners. Undoubtedly, Faye's policies showcase his vision for Senegal and demonstrate the qualities of leadership the Senegalese people can anticipate. However, this raises the question, can Bassirou Diomaye Faye be compared to Ibrahim Traoré, Africa's youngest president? Upon examining Faye's policies, one can notice their alignment with those of Ibrahim Traoré. It is widely known that Captain Traoré highly values the sovereignty of Burkina Faso, and since assuming power, he has undertaken various actions to uphold it. Notably, he took control of Burkina Faso's mining industry, which had previously been exploited by Western companies, and renegotiated mining contracts with foreign companies. He also resisted external influence, refusing to let Western countries dictate the country's affairs. Likewise, Faye aims to safeguard the sovereignty of Senegal by renegotiating resource agreements with foreign countries that have not benefited the nation. While Captain Traoré distanced Burkina Faso from its former colonial power, France, by expelling French forces, terminating defense agreements, and planning to introduce a new currency, Faye has not explicitly mentioned removing French forces or ending the agreement with France. However, his proposal to replace the CFA franc with a new currency and his emphasis on a win-win partnership with France implies a desire to create some distance between Senegal and its former colonial ruler. Although Faye's policies bear striking similarities to those implemented by Captain Traoré, there is a significant difference. Traoré is already in power and has successfully put these policies into action. Meanwhile, Faye is yet to assume office, and his policies remain promises. The question that arises, therefore, is whether Faye will fulfill his commitments or follow the pattern of previous leaders known for breaking their promises. Only time will tell.